So, hi, thank you. So I am Elise Sam. I like to tell people I got into blockchain by accident. I was stopped at a red light and I was plowed by a semi-truck, so you will not see me standing up very straight because my spine is fused together in 7 places and I have a metal clavicle. So I reached out to industry leaders, like this guy, and I was trained in smart contracted technology by Daima Buchanan, so Vitalik's father, and then I was the only woman on Team McAfee. So in that fun, crazy life, I met Mr. David Chaum, who is one of my heroes, and I guess you're my dad now, is what everybody's saying. Rumors David is my dad. So we're going to sit here and we're going to do a conversation about the history of, well, cryptocurrency, AI, and the future with blockchain, with quantum AI coming. So I'm going to start off with asking David. David, what happened in 1982 that you were a part of that literally changed history?
Well, I was a grad student at Berkeley, and the political environment changed radically from one day to the next. And there was a new director of the National Security Agency appointed, and one of the first things he did was threaten anyone who would hold a conference on cryptography with like the maximum that the U.S. government could throw at them. And it was, to me, I'd been working on how you could use privacy, cryptography for privacy and privacy technology, and I thought this was a horrible thing to end public research in all this, so I organized a conference on cryptography and I risked spending the rest of my life in jail to kind of set cryptography free. And you could read about it, and there I presented a paper called Privacy Protected Payments, which was the eCash electronic money system that I later implemented in the 90s. So that Deutsche Bank, issued eCash in Deutschmarks back in those days, and we had in 7 continents, other banks and stuff. So we had our own cyberbucks, currency and all that. So it's kind of a lot of the people you heard about in this space came through DigiCash, my company in the Netherlands, and had a lot to do with all that. So it was pretty exciting stuff.
It is really exciting. So let's fast forward a little bit. In 1996, the NSA released a paper about digital cash. Yeah, and then a few years later, in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a white paper for a decentralized economy. And he thanked David Chaum. Satoshi thanked David Chaum for all of his work and trying to help create the idea of decentralized money. And let's talk about that. So a lot of people will get a hold of me to thank you. They find my number and they're like, hey, can you tell me, is David Chaum Satoshi Nakamoto? And I'm like, yeah, I can't tell you that, but he's not. And so you wanna tell me why Satoshi Nakamoto thanked you in his white paper, and where were you during that time, and what was going on?
Well, a lot of things happened, and I created this thing called the multi-party computation. So I published a paper about it. I got this best paper in the last 30 years in Theoretical Computer Science Award for that, which was the first time they ever issued the award, and a big deal. And the editors of all the conferences on theoretical computer science. So I was kind of running an academic group. We had the largest cryptography group in the world, published bunches of papers. You can see them on my website. So I was doing a lot of different things, but then we spun off the DigiCash company because funny as hell, the Dutch government wanted privacy-protected payments for road tolls, highway speed road tolls, because they felt that people wouldn't pay them if their privacy was invaded, and if people didn't follow law, then that would just lead to a breakdown in in the Dutch government, so they really wanted us to do it. We did it. We developed it for them, and so I was busy doing all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we also had the Saddlebox payment system, which was our own currency besides those fiat currencies, and Zappo and all these people. I knew them. They worked at DigiCash, my company, and so forth. And so I was involved in these things in a lot of different ways. But I think today Bitcoin is a very important thing for liberty globally, and I think it's in mortal danger because of quantum computing and AI maybe accelerating that. And so recently I've done a little bit of work to try to prevent that. So that's some of the intersection.
Let's talk about AI and quantum computing next. So you all in here, raise your hand if you like Bitcoin. Okay, raise your hand if you're in love with Bitcoin. Raise your hand if you're afraid of quantum computing versus Bitcoin. Oh, there's a couple of there's a smart guy, there's a smart, okay, you guys are worried. Why are you worried about the state of Bitcoin with quantum computing and AI? A lot of risk. So with quantum computing, a simple computer can take down the whole financial ecosystem of Bitcoin. Let's talk about that and what is David Chaum dragging me into to fix this problem?
Well, okay, I have the solution. There's about half a dozen companies and people that have proposed solutions, but they all involve like turning your Bitcoin in to get these new quantum secure coins, which would tie up the network with first for months with these transactions, and it would kill Bitcoin anyways, I think. So, it's not a fun way to avoid that and to do a really nice job. But I haven't launched it as a project or a company yet because I was trying to bring all the, I think it's important that Bitcoin can move expeditiously towards a solution to this problem, and historically it's demonstrated an inability to move expeditiously. And if you know anything about the crypto wars and the block size wars, it's unbelievable. And this will kill Bitcoin this time because this threat is moving at it. So I'm trying to solve that. We just the last few months. Developers have been, put out of business, right? They're SOL. And I would say the next group to fall may be marketing professionals. And I think, as I predicted this already a year plus ago in a presentation I gave at blockchain week, people are going to use their own AIs and get the best stuff for them. They use the stuff for them. So it doesn't matter how much hype and whatever you put out, the AIs will find the best stuff for you and do it for you. It doesn't really matter how hard or how complicated or how many different ways. So I think the world's really going to change and move to a meritocracy in terms of these online services, which is really a huge sea change. I think that will bring the really good stuff to the fore, and that's what I've been working on, really good stuff. So one of the things is what I call better than money, and that is a way to move value from your portfolio of assets to the counterparty's portfolio, but you have different assets and the proportions that you want to give them and the proportions they want to take them in, and so there's no need to hold fiat currency. This is a really powerful way to, so money is a screw deal, money's the wrong thing. What you want is better than money, and economists never proposed it. Unbelievable. So I've talked about it, you can see it on the website, and I'm going to start building it out as a real product, because empower the poor globally to accrue wealth and hold whatever assets they want. And I think that's the financial services product that AI will drive people to automatically. So yeah, that's so I think AI is going to just change the complexion of all this stuff for the better.
Better Than Money is a pretty cool project. Michael Turpin is jumping into that with us. I'm really excited about that. You know, but we've had a lot of conversations where we've been on the phone for probably 3 to 6 hours sometimes talking about AI and governance. Should we touch on that because it's a pretty interesting topic?
Well, there are two things I want to say real quick. And I know this is a venture-oriented group, and I hear a lot of chatter in the back, so I think I'm not sure I'm really interested in this, but one of the big issues globally is, multipolarization. The fact that now we're basically treating global politics as a zero-sum game, and this is very expensive and very dangerous in the modern world. And this would, it's exactly what we don't want. So if you think back about the League of Nations, this is when Germany was a member, but they said, oh, hey, we'll pay the penalty, you're trying to get it from us, but we're going to invade Poland anyways. That's what started World War II. Okay, but what we can do today using AI and multi-party computations and crypto is make a world where all these different actors are intertangled so that they can't act unilaterally in violation of their agreements because there's real collateralized and I can go very hard consequences for violating those agreements. So that's a really exciting thing. But if you think about everybody's worried that AI is going to take over and be unkind to people. And I have a solution to that, which I've written about it. Elise and I worked on it together. We have a narrative about this, but it's been happening so fast we haven't been able to work on it as honestly as we'd like. But essentially, it's possible and very practical to allow ordinary people to, in effect, serve on juries for every single basic issue that has to be decided, whether it's who's going to run this, or large lawsuit outcomes, or all kinds of legislation and public policy. And because it's okay, the political scientists did not invent sample voting. I invented it. Go figure. Look at my website, sample voting. If you can prove mathematically, as we can, that that you have a majority of truly randomly selected people weighed in a certain way and they can't sell their votes, then you basically prove that a majority of the whole population is in favor of that decision. And that's sample voting, and you apply that with AI sort of orchestrating everything, what you get is a situation where everyone gets to vote on maybe 2 issues a year, but they can really look into them and give a reasoned analysis and see what the rest of the public thinks and tell what they think anonymously. And so you obsolete Arrow's theorem, for which you got the Nobel Prize, right, showing that voting doesn't make sense. It makes sense. And that way, AI cannot take over because all the decisions are approved by juries of humans in a way that cannot be violated. And so recently I felt that the public thinks that democracy no work. But that's wrong. It's actually that the kind of democracy that you could run with a printing press and so on doesn't work, but in the modern era. But with the technology we have, we can do democracy in such a way that it works really, really well. There's no need to have corruption and all that. Political processes dominating everything. You can have a very well-run world that everyone just has to participate a little bit, and AI can help us with that. So we called it AI Jiu-Jitsu. In other words, that we're basically turning the power of AI back on itself. So that's how AI can really make the world a far better place and deal with the problem of AI.
people have always asked, like, what is the problem of AI? And I think we agreed. This is what we first bonded over, I think. I looked at David and I said, AI is scary. And he said, why? And I said, because AI is only as ethical as the least ethical person in society. It's terrifying. There's not very many ethical people in society anymore. So, well, we are going to wrap this panel up, and Eric Pellier is going to come on stage next. So if you guys can please give David Chaum a round of applause.